know, Zachary, maybe you can speak to this slide because I know that we've talked a lot about this ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, one of the challenges I think, Donna, of asking for help, as we've talked about, is that help is almost always conceived as doing something, a tangible instrumental good, a clean transaction. And I think that there are, however, as you mentioned, when we're talking about kind of creating a care network, you cannot forget about what you need or want to allow you to continue doing the kinds of care that you're engaged in and managing this project of love that is a declaration of love. And it's okay to think about the people who provide you particular types of needs and satisfy expectations. And this sometimes means that not all people are included. And it means thinking about people in ways that recharge, renew you, as opposed to what people need. So sometimes caregivers are really great at doing gymnastics. They turn someone's offer of help into satisfying them rather than thinking about themselves.
Yes. Or doing something for the loved one when there are two people in the care relationship who need care.
Yeah.
And the caregiver is one of those two people. And
Yeah.
so, and sometimes what we need is emotional support.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes what we need is just laughter. And sometimes what we need is a really good workout. So whatever those key areas of what sustains us should also be really considered of primary importance in the network of care as well. Because don't forget your own needs when you're building a network of support.
So vital. And we've often talked, and I've criticized the way in which we think about contacts, for example, like they're listed in alphabetical order in a phone. And for a care network, we're really asking people to not list them by alphabet. That's not helping us. It's listing them by what they're providing for us in terms of emotional satisfaction, laughter, an opportunity to talk about something else, and thinking about organizing them based on what they bring with them and do with you. And that interactional space, it's not contacts just based on kind of where they fall in the alphabet. But I want to highlight something, Donna, that Eric is asking, and it's an interesting question about asking whether a combination of these sources from ALSCA to Caring Bridge might be helpful. I really need this. She said she's become increasingly homebound with health needs too, and so she wasn't really sure where to find out some of this information. It's hard for anyone to relate at all, but she said she is open to looking online. We'd also mentioned, Erica, in session 2 about some of those online social support groups, mm-hmm. which are really directed towards you gaining connection and understanding from others who are going through similar challenges, health or care needs. And Donna, any comments about like integrating these? My only comment is that if you use Caring Bridge and ALSCA and TIES, it may be hard to integrate those. So,
yeah, I would really advise choose one. Just choose one. Because most people are on some form of social media. So don't abandon the relationships that you might have on Facebook or, Instagram. But this is what I'm talking about is much more intentional, mm-hmm. and it is about physical, social, emotional support for yourself and the person you're caring for. So it's targeted, and more is not better in one of these networks of support. More networks is not better. More online platforms is not better. And more people in the network is not better. You need to choose who's actually going to be helpful. And all I'm saying with this slide is don't forget your emotional needs. Yep. Like you want people to do emotional work with you and your loved one. Even if that means just somebody hanging out with your husband who's had a stroke, it's hanging out and having a laugh and nothing else. But you want people for that too. And so think about that as something valuable that you want to bake into your network as well. But again, more is not better. I had a friend who built a network of support for her son, and she put in, I think it was 57 people, everybody in that child's 37 years of life who had ever been friends.
Right.
Then nobody did anything, and she just went, well, that's useless, because it wasn't targeted and purposeful. So
it's a luxury, Donna, to be in, pre-caregiving. We mixed informational support, emotional support, companionship. But when we're caregivers, we actually must be much more focused, as you're saying.
yeah.
We have to be able to identify, like, you know what, I really need some emotional support. I need someone just to listen to me without judgment and allow me to vent or to talk in ways that I wouldn't with others. We got to name it so that we can know who can help provide it. It sounds odd to, like, I'm looking for emotional support because it seems too transactional, but
Yeah.
it's actually going to open you up to interpreting your care experiences and your loved one differently if you are nurturing that which you need.
Yeah. And you don't have to call it emotional support. You can call it, can you be my coffee friend?
Yeah.
You know, can you be my Zumba friend?
Yeah.
Like, and coffee after,
Right.
but it's something, and I would say that you don't want like 10 people here. You want a very maximum of 3. So we're
Because
talking,
your bandwidth is limited. I mean, and so,
yes.
the idea that I really like the value that we've been talking about, like the caregiver value here is recognizing that more is not better, that knowing who is right for what you're experiencing and what you're needing, that's right.
Yeah, because this is about curating your life and all the tasks in your life, and also all of the nurturing in your life too.
Yep.
So if we could look at the next
Yeah,
slide.
and just to let you know that many people are very appreciative, Donna, of the information and kind of guidance you've been providing here. And just to let you know, we're at 3:17, so we have about 13 minutes left.
Okay, great. So again, simply begin with the calendar. If you've got one of these networks and you say, okay, I've got some people who are willing to participate with me in an organized way to help me and my loved one and my family, how do you begin? Begin with the calendar. Begin with dates in the calendar and say, what do I need to help with any of these activities, whether they're medical related or they're just personal. And who do you want attached to those dates? So begin with the calendar. And next slide. And don't forget to meet with people, as a group, and birthday parties, parties of any kind, celebrations of any kind. And this was before COVID, of course, but now we can do it on Zoom to get the whole network together, because some people may not know each other, but the bond of a small group working efficiently together to support somebody with healthcare needs is powerful stuff. And it's a good reason to bring together and cause for like celebration sometimes.
And I would say this, that Zoom or other kinds of tools like that make it cleaner because people don't have to travel. They don't have to worry about traffic. So they can clock in at 3:00 if that's where you set the appointment up, and it's 20-minute celebration. Then everyone's out at 3:30. I think that it provides more opportunities for that.